Hello, brothers and sisters of Accounting 201. This is Brother Lewis coming to you at the beginning of week 2. We are on our way. So let me get started with a spiritual thought and then walk through some of the things that will be coming up in this coming week. Make sure you're aware of them and go over some other sundry items that might be helpful. Let's start off with the Book of Mormon. So I teach the 14 and 15-year-olds, and this year we're working on the Book of Mormon. And my challenge to them was to identify something that you wanted to learn about or needed help with this year, and highlight, something in the Book of Mormon as you're reading that might help you with that. So with that in mind, I thought I would take just a moment and identify some of the things I've already highlighted. So I usually read through the Book of Mormon, or study the Book of Mormon, if you will, about 2 to 3 times a year, and alongside whatever's going on. So I was already in Second Nephi, and as I was reading Second Nephi 25, I was reminded, and I did all mine this year in green, if they would cast their eyes unto the serpent which had raised up before them, and also give him power that he should smite the rock, and the water should come forth. So my goal this year was, stepping back for a second, how can I overcome being complacent, basically? I feel like I'm in a little of a lull, kind of a plateau in life, and I just don't have a whole lot of gumption to go out and do something new. But I know I need to. I feel like I need to. I feel like I'm doing things okay, but I just have this sense about me that I need to overcome whatever's holding me back from just doing something different, something more productive, maybe even something more meaningful. And because I've accomplished a lot, and I still have a lot to accomplish. So I got to figure out what that is. And so in this one, it just occurred to me I just need to continue to look to Christ, look to the power that he has, and see what I can do to draw from that. Um, and there's others in here. So as I go into, I think this week I've probably read 6 or 7 different chapters. So on this one, behold, the righteous that hearken unto the words of the prophets and destroy them not, but look forward unto Christ with steadfastness for the signs which are given. Notwithstanding all persecution, behold, they are they which shall not perish. So this one, it occurred to me, prophets, right? Look to them and look to Christ with steadfastness. So once again, I'm being pointed back to Christ. And in this case, I think through the prophets, listening to the words of the prophets. So I'm going to have to double back on maybe October's general conference, see what's was the messages were there, and see if there's anything that I can draw from that as well. And if I go into another, oh, here's one. But the laborer in Zion shall labor for Zion, for if they labor for money, they shall perish. Clearly, as an instructor for BYU Idaho, I am not laboring for money necessarily. I am laboring for Zion. And as I was thinking about that one, also outside of just BYU Idaho, I was thinking, but the laborer in Zion shall labor for Zion. So as I was thinking about it, whether I'm working at Crow, where I'm at right now, or whether I'm working at BYU, or whether I'm working just to help others around me, as long as my focus is on Zion and building up Zion, then maybe I'll find something there that's a little bit more meaningful than I'm doing now. Not that what I'm doing now is not meaningful, but maybe, as an instructor for BYU, I can labor a little bit better to help, the 100 students that I got into 50 in each section. So roughly 100 students, help them out a little bit more to build up Zion. So that was another thing that caught to my mind. So as I'm going through this, almost every chapter, with some exceptions, I've found something that's helping me overcome my complacency. And I hope that you will find the same help as you're working through the Book of Mormon, studying it. And if you're studying it with an objective, I promise that you will find something that will help you out regularly as you're studying the scriptures. And I say that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So, all right, moving right over to this coming week. Now, you're just finishing up, kind of getting spun up for week 1. Hopefully, you've already started to work on week 2. You'll want to get in the practice of working ahead. Even when I was, last semester I took a computer programming class. I knew I was going to be on vacation for about a week. Actually, and then I also had an event come up where my stepfather passed away, and I was out for another week. And so I was generally 3 to 5 days at a minimum ahead of my coursework, so that when issues like this come up throughout the semester, I'm able to work through them. And that's been a practice of mine for a long time. I can't say that uh, as a student in high school, or even the first couple of years in college, that I practiced that. And so, I think my GPA in high school was something like 2.7. Maybe BYU Provo was 3.2. But after that, graduate work, any of these courses that I take at BYU Idaho for continuing education, I am always on top of the coursework and making sure that I turn in assignments on time all the time. If I don't, because I've just been lazy and forgotten that I needed to do something. And I take the licks where I have to. But in general, I think I've gotten A's on all my classes. So the focus is just get ahead. Because right now, if you don't get ahead, you will get behind. And you don't want to get behind in this class. It's really rough. So so if you're, make sure you get started on week 2. It's pretty straightforward. You have 2 chapters to work through. Chapter 2 is going to be a little bit of an interesting one, because it's going to take you all the way basically to the end of the learning, probably just to get your mindset that most of this work, business is all about equity and about cash flow. And so this kind of gets you primed, chapters 2 and I think 11, as we get into next week, the week after, week 3. Those are just helping you see the long-term vision, where things end up being, how things come together. And whereas chapters 1, 2, 3, those kind of help set the framework, the principles behind the work of accounting. So you're kind of getting 2 doses at the same time these first couple of weeks. So make sure that you work through these smart book exercises in a meaningful manner, that you're actually capturing the information that's coming out of here, because this will set you up for success as you get into the practicalities of accounting. And so if you need any help along the way, just let me know. Also, make sure that you're using the support forum to ask questions to each other, right? Help each other work through this. While I am a good help, sometimes my perspective on accounting, while it may be, if you will, correct, it's experienced, it's got a long history of understanding. It doesn't always fit, or it doesn't always help you, because I can just give you the answer, right? But it's not necessarily the perspective you might need, because maybe somebody else within your class figured out how to get to the answer without any experience, right? And so you, without any experience, might benefit from somebody else without any experience, and understand how it clicked for them. And so while I might be able to help you from time to time, help make that connection, I think your student group, your learning mates, will help you a lot more in figuring out how to make that connection between the learning and the practice. How do you actually get it to work? So make sure you use this support forum to work through that. So you have these smart book exercises due the midweek. The presenters have till Wednesday to get their presentations done. And then you have on Saturday, the financial statement analysis that's due, presentation reviews, which really just contribute. You don't really get graded for, or not graded for participating in that, except for the presenter. They do have to submit their videos by Wednesday, so that individuals can review them in preparation really for the quiz access, because all these presentations you'll do will be one question out of about 10 that will help everybody through the quiz access. And remember, you have to get an 85% or more to pass the quiz access and open up the quiz. Okay, so make sure that you understand this linkage and don't wait the last minute to take quiz access, because that might hold you back or maybe even prevent you from taking the quiz on time. All right, and then you have the proctoral practice. This is just making sure that you get the extension enabled and ready to go for the future exam, which will happen in week 5. All right, so this is your kickstart. This is where you're starting out. This is generally the pattern that'll happen: a midweek textbook learning, followed by a testing of that learning by the end of the week with presentations that help support you. I will have office hours on Thursday, but at some point, usually, out of 100 students, maybe 1 or 2 will show up. If it gets to the point where there's no students showing up, I will cancel the Zoom. I recognize that people are all over the world and may not be able to attend, so that's not a big problem. Just understand that even though I may cancel office hours at some point if there's no attendance, that I'm always available to support. Okay, so, and I'm always willing to jump online at a time convenient for you to help you through anything that you need. So don't feel that just because I'm not having office hours that I'm all of a sudden disappearing from the face of the earth. It's just the opposite. It's more like ask and you shall receive. So if you need direct support and you need that visually over, a video conference, I'm happy to set that up and make it work for you. So please lean on me where you need to, but also lean on your colleagues to work through that. And let's do this together. One note on the presentations. Now there is a video out there. Actually, let me go a different route. Remember, in the announcements, I placed YouTube links that I've got out there that you can access anytime, right? And in week 2, there's a YouTube link that goes over the presentations, right? More on presentation signups, as well as office hours presentations. These 2 will help you through, if you are a presenter, figuring out how to do that, how to record it, where the problem is that you have to work through. So don't forget that there's tons of stuff here that you can utilize in these playlists for each week to help you through. And usually I've tried to put in here a fairly descriptive title, so you can just hunt and peck for what you're looking for. In some cases, what you're looking for might be in a full review, like chapter 1 full review, right? That's just everything I've gone through to just kind of give you some highlights of what needs to be understood in the chapter. But in other cases, like for your quiz access, and this will get better and better as the semester goes. You'll see more and more videos for the quiz access, to where you should be able to be passing these quiz access problems without any problem, because I literally walk through step by step how to get to the right answer in these, which will help you, because then, okay, you can pass the quiz access, but then using those same kind of approaches on the problems, because they're going to be very similar on the quiz, you'll be able to do the same on your own through the actual quiz and get a fairly decent score. So in this case, looks like I did 9 and 11, and I also did one of the problems for the financial statement analysis for week 2. So this should be quite a bit of help for you as you get started. All right. All sorts of issues I've dealt with, and if I haven't dealt with it here, please make sure that you ask me, and I will definitely do another video, drop it on there for everybody's benefit, and see if I can help out there. All right. So that's one announcement you want to make sure that you always remember is there as a link over. And then let's see, the other thing is, let's see, presentations. Oh yeah, I haven't done the announcement yet on the presentation assignments, but I am prepping it. So right now, Like, for example, this is section A, this is section A3. So I've gone through and I've identified the individuals that have signed up. Now there's about, and I'll post this later on for it, so it's a quick, easy reference for when you've signed up. But there are several folks that either duplicated their sign up, and so I've noted that already to those individuals. But let me just show you real quick. You can always go to the people area, and I have started to, under the Accounting 201 presenters, if it'll show up here, I have started to assign individuals to their respective areas. So you'll be able to see, if you go in here, whether or not you are, or who is presenting for that week, maybe, is one way of looking at it. And also, these are the folks that have not submitted their self signups yet. I will check this on Monday and then populate that spreadsheet I just did, post the announcement so everybody's aware of it. But it'll also always be right here in this People Accounting 201 Presenters tab, and you'll be able to find out, where you are assigned. Okay, and so this is A3. If I go over to A7, section A7, then it's the same thing, right? So if I go over to people, I go over to the Accounting 201 presenters, then these are the individuals that are currently not signed up, about 10 of you. And once you are, then I will update the spreadsheet to make sure that you're on these groups, and then we'll go from there. Now, what'll happen is as we get closer to those weeks, you'll notice that you should get a little notification on what's coming up here, and you'll be able to, you'll either be able to see it here. If you have a question, you can go to the announcement, or if you have a question, you can also go to the people's area. So there's a couple of different ways of knowing when your presentation is coming up. And I think that's all I have. Let me just double check that there's nothing else in here. Nothing on the module side, announcement side. And then on the modules, let me just double check. There's nothing else I wanted to cover on week 2. Oh, one other thing. Okay. These supplementary study materials, I think I've covered that in my week 1 kind of startup, but these are critical, if I may say, probably even better than, well, I'm not sure if better, but very complementary to the videos that I provide. But these are more, from the textbook, and it'll walk you through some of the questions that you might have. Now, they're not graded, they show up as optional, but they are a huge, I think, resource for you to target a specific question that you might have. So like, let's say you have a question on the accounting equation. Well, it's going to take you over to a series, if I can get there, a series of videos and like short, quick questions to test your understanding. Okay, this is my view, so pardon the transition. Okay, so it's going to show you some quick videos. These are usually 1 to 2 minutes long at the most. And then it's going to ask you a question to check your knowledge. And the same thing, it'll go to another concept of the accounting equation. You'll do a video and check your knowledge. So if you're struggling with a particular area, this is definitely a great resource because you'll get quick knowledge, quick check your knowledge type of a situation. It's like preparing for, I've got, I don't know how many certifications. I've probably taken, what would that be? Probably 10 to 15 different certification exams. And this was a classic way of learning and prepping for those, study a concept, do a series of check questions. And that way, as you do that, you'll start to build confidence, build strength in that subject area and be able to pass the exam just fine. And in this case, you'll be wanting to pass your quizzes at 100% every week, because one of the things, just a note, And I think I had this in the playlist possibly in terms of grading. Maybe it's this week or maybe it's the other one. But you'll want to recognize the fact that the exams are worth what, like 55% of your score. Let's go to the syllabus. I know I've done this in another video, but I'll do it here. The exams are worth 55% of your score. All right. So even if you get 100% on all your other assignments, which you'll want to do, and which is very capable of you doing, if you don't do well on those exams, you're going to tank, and you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that, and the nice thing about this is they've broken up the exams into what, 5 different exams over the period of time. And so, and with the final being everything plus the last 2 weeks, I think. So really you got 4 exams up to that, which test your knowledge along the way. You can use those quizzes to help prep, the supplementary videos to help prep as well. And then you got to get something around, let's say an 80% on average, even if you got the 100% on the others in order to get an A in the class. Okay, so some of you individuals might have Excel spreadsheets running and stuff like that on your grades, like I do usually. And so just as an FYI, you can get 100% on all these other, pretty much close to 100%. You should be able to get 90 to 100% on all these other assignments. And that'll set you up for success, because then all you got to do is make sure that your exams are somewhere in the 80 to 85% area. And believe me, you will miss. Usually, if there's 50 questions on the exams, you'll miss 5 to 10 of them just because the way questions are worded, errors on your own part, just not understanding the full context of the question, sometimes doing a math error. You'll always generally miss a couple, right? So you want to make sure that you're targeting at least an 80 to 90% on those exams. The only way you can do that is making sure you're well prepped through quizzes and the supplementary videos. Okay. Little tidbit from me. All right, so these are important. You don't want to miss these. I find that students who use these supplementary videos do better than those who do not, unless you're truly gifted at accounting and it just comes like no problem to you. And there are a few of those. I mean, there's usually, I don't know, I'd say out of a group of 50 students, maybe 5 to 10, that this is just no problem for them. They'll breeze through this material. But the rest of us, we have to work, and we have to work really hard at it in order to understand it, put it into practice, and then be tested on it, be able to pass through the tests on it in a satisfactory way to get that A or BA area. And for some of us who just need to pass it, C is always within the realm of possibilities. You just really have to stay up with material. Okay, that's my initial pep talk, hopefully, for this initial week. Please let me know if you have a question or you have any struggles along the way, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Take care and have a wonderful week.